Hi, welcome back to my channel. Glad you're here. I just wanted to talk today about some post-separation abuse in honor of the National Domestic Violence Month of October. And so I just wanted to talk a little bit about post-separation abuse. And this is when uh, the abuser, but they continue to abuse you, and it's not really wide known, so I wanted to put some awareness out there for it. And so one of the first things that I would want to become aware of if I was going to be an abuser is that the least they know about you leaving, the better, because as soon as they find out that you want to leave, they basically want to start their strategy to keep you from leaving, which will consume them. So the minute they even get the sign that you might leave. So the best thing to do is to not let on that you're leaving, to not tell anybody, to just try to make your plans in silence because that will prevent them from hopefully coming after you. As soon as they realize that you want to leave, they feel like you're their enemy if they weren't already feeling that way because you already came to the conclusion that you want to leave. You might have signified that. There's a few stories I've heard of um, people actually getting killed shortly after they leave or right before they leave because the abuser cannot handle the separation. And so that's obviously planned through the steps of closure and leaving. So this one story is about this woman who, this is a couple of years ago, and she wanted to straighten things out with her husband. They had like three kids together, but he wasn't really willing to change or even accept the fact that they were going. And so she had warned him about this for about 6 months. So she decided to go ahead and get her own apartment. So she got her own apartment and was beginning to move out of the house. And she had been working on that for a couple of weeks, starting to pack things up and move things. And he was well aware of it and letting her know it's hard to move. But there wasn't anything changing in the behaviors. So he was still abusive, and she knew that she wanted to move away from it, but she was trying to do it in a gentle way. She had like three kids that she wanted to take with her. So she went ahead and kept packing, and he knew that she was leaving. And so she kept, letting people know what was going on, that they were going to be separated, and that she was actually still open to the fact of getting back together if they could work things out. But she knew at that point that she needed to draw a line, so she started to pack her things and have this apartment. Really against I mean, I think while he was helping her move the stuff over the apartment, he was like talking her out of it. Like, I can't believe you're doing this kind of thing. And so I don't know if she planned on having the kids or not. I think she had room for the kids in the apartment. But the point was to make it clear that she wasn't going to be abused any longer, and that's why she was doing it. And so she let like her family know, and her parents were in support of it, and things like that. And so this went on until the day before that she left. And that night, when she was supposed to move the next day, he killed her, the kids, and himself because he couldn't deal with the fact of separation. I can't remember this name, and this has happened before. It's something. So it's not safe to let the abuser know that you're leaving. So he was already suffering from separation anxiety, which was causing, I'm not trying to make an excuse for it, but he had plenty of time to plan something out. He decided to need to it. So he stopped killing himself because he didn't want to have to live without her either way. I suppose he killed himself. I'm not sure exactly how that goes, but and the children. So the whole family ended up dying. And that was a known domestic violence. People were, really upset about that happening in the community and of course all over the world. It became really, really big news. So anyway, that is like what some of the things that can happen. That's the worst case scenario. There's other things that can happen where they'll kill your pets and they'll call all your friends, make up lies about you to them. Um, they're suffering from illness, basically a mental illness. They have anxiety over separation, the fact that you're in their life, the fact that they can't control you, the very fact that you're making decisions. We just need to be aware of that so that when we are ready to leave an abuser, that we do our best not to let them know. I made the mistake about letting mine know and kind of going through the same process that this woman went through. And he went on like a campaign to tell lies about me to everybody who could. And he continued to do this, tried to brainwash the kids against me when they all knew exactly what was going on. Everybody in the community knew exactly what was going on. He didn't get along with anybody. He would start fights and arguments everywhere he went, for no reason at all. So everyone knew what behaviors he was capable of, and he had a history of really poor behavior, poor attitude. For some reason, he just decided to start a campaign to make me out to be the one that had the problem. So be ready for that. And one way that you can be ready for that is by speaking up. I didn't speak up. I just wanted to leave quietly and start over. And I really did talk for it. In fact, that was a mistake. I should have been, after I left, right away, I should have started speaking on why I left instead of, so make it quiet while you're leaving, but as soon as you are gone, that's when you really need to start spreading the truth about why you left. Because the more attention you bring to yourself about why you left, the least um, they can start there, making up things, blaming things on you, try and turn everybody against you, leaving you in a place when you don't really have anybody to talk to, because they basically taken those people on life and you won't talk to them. So as soon as you can get out and you are in a safe state, you need to just basically talk about it and spend all your time talking about it until things get a little bit smoother. Because the more you talk about it, the better it gets. But like I said, only the after you leave. Because starting to talk about it or talk through it with an abuser will prevent you from leaving, and they could start some kind of attack on you. It could be something where they'll mess up things for you at your job because they want to cut off all your finances. That's the first thing they do. They cut off your finances, then they start talking. They don't want you having money to stay away from that, but do whatever it takes back, go back. They'll put all of the bills and debt and everything in your name, you with all the hardship, and take off on a smear campaign all about, which is lies about who everyone thinks. So I just wanted to talk about that, just to move in silence when you leave your abuser. And I'm going to be talking a little bit more about post separation abuse. So that was just something to be quiet, just don't because they're gonna have a feeling something might be going on. So they'll go to your close people and they'll try to get it out of them. So as much as you can keep everything to yourself in the beginning, that's best. You might want to find somebody like a therapist or somebody that you can tell that they don't know that you're seeing. You want to talk to these people about this in private. You don't want to let them know who you're seeing. Don't send emails online to people. Try to meet them directly. Um, they might even be following you. I don't know. So you have to really be careful. Maybe you want to see a therapist that's in the area or somewhere else that you usually go. Like maybe see a therapist that's like next door to your gym or something. That when you're going to the gym, you can just like pop over and see a therapist. Try to work it out, something like that. Because you can't let them know what you're doing because they're going to they'll come after you for leaving, and the least they know about what you're doing, the better. You can't be honest and straightforward about how you wanted to work things out. And when it's time to leave, you just need to leave. And that's number one. Do move in silence. Move in silence and tell very little people what you're doing. And then number two is after you leave, that's when you need to start telling everybody what happened. And just don't shut up about it. Keep going with it because your voice is gonna have to be louder than a smear campaign, and that'll be protection for you because you might want to just move away and not even think about it, but that's not the thing to do. That did not work out for me at all. So just keep that in mind. Just run your mouth, run it louder and stronger than a smear campaign. That's all I have for today. Have a good day.